The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of May 19 to 23 reveal that Sally Spectra will deal with her worst fear, while Abby Winters faces a surprise encounter. Phyllis Summers will also grill Amanda Sinclair, so there'll be some exciting stuff happening in Genoa City. For starters, Billy Abbott's revenge craving will become a growing concern for Sally. Billy's desire for payback on Victor Newman could become his downfall if he's not careful, so Sally will certainly be mindful of that. The last thing Sally wants is for Billy to ruin his fresh start at Abbott Communications. Billy tends to self-sabotage, so Sally will definitely fret over him losing his focus and becoming fixated on Victor vengeance instead. Of course, Adam Newman could become Billy's revenge target as well, depending on how he handles the smear campaign demand that Victor's making. There's a lot riding on this for Adam, since Chelsea Lawson is counting on him to keep his promise and avoid trashing Billy publicly. Will Adam find a way to satisfy Victor while still keeping Chelsea appeased? Adam will have a hard time navigating all this, but he'll do his best to keep his job and his girlfriend. Next, we should discuss Amanda, since she'll shake things up in the coming episodes. It looks like Amanda is representing Aristotle Dumas, so she'll be thrown into plenty of drama. Nate Hastings, Divin Winters, and Lily Winters will all have a chance to react to Amanda's Dumas involvement. The same goes for Phyllis, who's bound to have questions about Dumas' identity and what he's really up to in Genoa City. Amanda may not have all the answers, and even the things she does know should stay under wraps, since she won't want to betray her client. As for Abby, she'll have a surprise encounter with Amanda, one that's sure to get a bit tense. Devin betrayed Amanda with Abby once upon a time, so Amanda may not let Abby forget that as she takes a few jabs over the past. Across town, Tessa Porter may make another attempt to convince Mariah Copeland to open up. Will Mariah finally come clean about what she did on her business trip? Did Mariah cheat on Tessa or commit some other type of betrayal instead? Regardless, Tessa should lean on Daniel Romalotti Jr. even more as this storyline moves along. Meanwhile, Y&R fans have been waiting on Cole Howard's test results, so those should be revealed. There are good reasons to think Cole's dealing with a fatal illness, so stay tuned for updates on any grim news he might receive. It'll be interesting to see if Cole brings Victoria Newman and Clare Newman in the loop right away or avoids spilling as long as he can. We should also mention a special romantic episode that'll air on May 21, which will highlight some important love stories in GC. Victor and Nikki Newman will be featured along with Michael Baldwin, who'll make a bold move to prove his devotion to Lauren Fenmore Baldwin. That could mean Michael will quit his job, since Lauren's been pressuring him to walk away from Victor and avoid the worst of the chaos that's about to erupt. Jack Abbott will also have a sweet present for Diane Jenkins Abbott, so he'll show her just how much he appreciates the effort she put into the Abbott Mansion revamp. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, May 15, reveal that Clare Newman will make a bold suggestion while Kyle Abbott's behavior worries Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack Abbott. For starters, Clare will try to convince Nikki Newman and Victoria Newman that her new plan could actually work. Since Clare wants Victor Newman to see her bliss with Kyle in more celebratory situations, she'll pitch the idea of throwing a party. As luck would have it, Nikki's birthday is happening soon. That'll give Clare a good reason to really go all in on this bash, and hope it'll serve as a great opportunity to win Victor over. Like Kyle, Victoria and Nikki will surely be skeptical about Clare changing Victor's mind. This plan seems destined to fail, but Nikki and Victor will apparently go along with it once they get updates anyway. Over with Kyle, his behavior will worry Jack and Diane. It turns out Kyle's parents will see some warning signs and fret over him repeating some of the blunders he's made in the past. Kyle has a happy romance with the exception of this Victor issue, so Jack and Diane won't want him to blow it with his own worst impulses. Victor indeed tends to bring out the worst in people, so Diane and Jack may give Kyle a warning. Next, Holden Novak will cross paths with Audra Charles, so that should bring some tension. In Holden's usual flirty way, he'll push Audra's buttons and call her out on something she's pretending about. Holden may sense that Audra's worried deep down about Victor's delay on financing her venture. Since Audra is scheming as part of this arrangement, Holden may also suspect Nate wouldn't like it if he knew the whole truth. Perhaps Holden will suggest Audra's strong relationship with Nate isn't as strong as she's letting on. Audra will no doubt let Holden get under her skin, but she'll give as good as she gets. This might be a great time for Audra to mention Holden potentially taking over Damian Cain's position and running Dumas companies back in Los Angeles. However, Holden may warn that Audra isn't getting rid of him that easily. It's clear that Holden would still like the sizzling reunion with Audra, so Y and our fans will be eager to see if one ever happens. The corporate battle on The Young and the Restless between Newman Media and Abbott Communications is becoming one of Genoa City's most volatile power struggles. The focal point of the corporate battle is Sally Spectra, a skilled player whose career and life decisions now come with greater risk. As two dominant dynasties battle for control of the media, Sally's next moves could cement her as one of the industry's leading executives or result in career-destroying backlash. Sally's partnership with Billy Abbott has landed her squarely in the crosshairs of Victor and Adam Newman, both of whom have great reasons to wreck her success. Chelsea Lawson's increasing influence and Phyllis Summers' lingering resentment make Sally's situation even more complicated. As tensions between these two companies escalate, Sally's position may shift from strategic partner to target on The Young and the Restless. Sally was recently promoted to lead the creative department of Abbott Communications after Billy Abbott fired Phyllis Summers. It was a drastic shift in direction for the company. Billy Abbott's support for Sally was intentional. He believes that her imagination and design skills would revitalize the media department and distinguish it from Newman Media. Internally, people were upset by the decision. Jack Abbott has been alarmed by Sally's employment, calling up her problematic past in Genoa City. He is not so much concerned by her past errors as by the potential risk she could pose to the company's reputation. Billy and Jack's breakdown over Sally's position indicates a split in the Abbott management that could jeopardize the company's strong face to Newman Media. Newman Media, led by Victor Newman, isn't taking Abbott Communications' advance for granted. As a countermeasure to Abbott hiring Sally and reorganization efforts, Victor made Chelsea Lawson QO. Chelsea is now aligning with Adam Newman, Sally's former business partner and a key to this feud. Chelsea and Adam have a business and personal relationship that constitutes a direct threat to Sally's position. Chelsea already pushed Sally out of a senior post at Newman Media, and her promotion indicates that Victor is solidifying the firm's top executive ranks with loyalists. It also marks the start of an aggressive competitive drive, under which strategies can extend from corporate sabotage and poaching customers to media assault on Abbott leadership, most significantly Sally. Sally's past with Adam Newman makes her situation now more complicated. Their romance had fizzled out as soon as Adam cheated on her with Chelsea, but unfinished feelings and professional overlap prevent them from simply moving apart. With Adam and Chelsea on the same team at Newman Media, tension is sure to rise. At the same time, Sally's close professional relationship with Billy Abbott is under fire as well. Their deepening rapport has raised eyebrows regarding potential bias, especially from Jack and other observers worried about personal relationships influencing business decisions on The Young and the Restless. Should that rapport turn into romance, it could generate new tensions within Abbott Communications and against external challengers. Meanwhile, Phyllis Summers, just ousted by Billy from the company she created, got started down another path. She has personal grudges against both Sally and Billy, and her relationships with Jack and Victor give her several options for getting back at them. Any move on Phyllis' part to ally herself with Newman Media might become an additional challenge for Sally. The Young and the Restless recap for Wednesday, May 14, reveals that Billy Abbott will have the wrong answer for Victor Newman, while Summers makes a failed phone call to Aristotle Dumas. At the Jazz Lounge, Victor will give Phyllis 5 minutes to tell him what this is all about. Phyllis will hint about having information related to Aristotle Dumas since she worked with Billy, but she'll want something in return before she'll offer it. After Phyllis pushes for a business opportunity, she'll want it to include Daniel Romalotti Jr. Victor will quickly realize that Phyllis has no real plan and will wonder why he should invest when she doesn't even know what she's talking about. Victor will call Phyllis bluff and assume he knows her information anyway. After Victor correctly guesses that Billy is trying to pit him against Dumas in a chancellor feud, Phyllis will claim there's more to the story. Victor won't buy that, nor will he buy Phyllis' claim about having a direct line to Dumas. After Victor makes it clear that he doesn't like getting played, he'll saunter out. Phyllis will use the contact info she stole from Billy's phone and call the number for Aristotle Dumas next. Carter will answer in an office somewhere since he's Dumas' assistant. Phyllis will state her name and admit she's calling with beneficial info that relates to a business venture involving Victor and Billy. Although Phyllis will want to speak with Dumas right away, Carter will only agree to pass the info along and will ultimately hang up on her. That'll frustrate Phyllis, but she'll give herself a pep talk. At the GCAC, Billy will cross paths with Adam Newman and start bickering with him over the Newman Media smear campaign that's in the works. Chelsea Lawson will eventually speak with Billy alone and learn this is really about tainting him so that he's damaged goods in Dumas' eyes. Although Chelsea will push Billy to essentially be the bigger person and stop retaliating to end the war, Billy will remind her that Victor and Puppet Boy are the ones coming after him. After Chelsea and Adam exit, Victor will find Billy drinking alone at the bar. When Victor wonders if Billy has an answer for his ultimatum, Billy will refuse to divulge anything related to his dealings with Dumas. Victor will chuckle over Billy always choosing the wrong door, but Billy will think someday he'll choose the right one and watch Victor stumble. However, Victor will warn that he wouldn't count on it. Once Victor walks off, he'll call Adam and push him to move ahead with publishing their smear campaign against Billy. Adam will promise to take care of everything in the morning, so Chelsea will realize Victor is pressuring him to go along with his plan. Although Chelsea will fume and tear up over how familiar all this feels, Adam will act like he's got a trick up his sleeve and push her to let him handle this his way. At Nate Hastings' place, he'll once again get suspicious over Victor's continued delay on funding Audra Charles' new venture. Once Damian Cain brings Amy Lewis back from Boston, there'll be some talk about how well her treatment is going. While Amy and Audra are upstairs, Nate will voice concerns about Damian serving as a double agent. Damian will wonder if Nate doesn't trust him to join Winters, but Nate will assure him that he's just trying to protect his brother. After Nate ultimately welcomes Damian to the company and shakes his hand, Amy and Audra will come back down to get the good news. Peter Bergman has played Jack Abbott on The Young and the Restless since 1989. The character is famous for his drive, strong sense of family, and competitiveness, and has been embroiled in some of the soap's most long-standing and intricate plots. Bergman took over the role from Terry Lester, who initially played Jack, and infused a new aspect to the character that enabled him to become a cornerstone of the show. Jack's character has also changed greatly through the decades, from a goal-oriented businessman to a loyal brother and son. His feuds, particularly with Victor Newman, and his romances with the women of Genoa City have all contributed to defining his story. Over the years, Jack's story has been one of trying to find a way through the problems of both his personal and professional life, and he is now one of the longest-running characters in the show's history. Jack Abbott is the son of John Abbott, who started Genoa Cosmetics, an institution that occupies a pivotal place in his life. Being the first Abbott child, Jack was usually set to take over both his father's business heritage and the role of being the leader of the Abbott clan. His father's death in 2006 was a critical point in Jack's character development, but it was not an instant change to becoming the head of the family. Jack evolved to become Abbott's figurehead, reconciling his business drive with the intricacies of family life. Since his appearance on the show, Jack has had numerous high-profile relationships, which have contributed to his character's development. His love affairs have varied from intense love stories to extremely complicated betrayals. His on-again, off-again romance with Phyllis Summers involved both love and tension, especially because of Phyllis's affair with his brother, Nick Newman. While his affair with Sharon Newman and Nikki Newman also provided depth to his personality, both of these relationships were strained because of pressures from outside and personal issues. One of the more iconic Jack storylines in The Young and the Restless included the 2015 storyline, in which Jack was caught up in a scheme with his doppelganger, Marco Anicelli. Jack's kidnapping by Marco, a villainous mastermind who wished to assume his identity, generated one of the series' most dramatic and offbeat plot turns. It showcased Peter Bergman's skill, as he played both Jack and Marco. The doppelganger storyline was a divergence from the typical conflicts between business and family, injecting intrigue and danger into Jack's story. Jack's business role has been the focus of his character. His leadership at Genoa Cosmetics has been challenged time and again, particularly in his feud with Victor Newman, the Newman Enterprises. Jack's competitive nature and drive to excel have rendered him a strong force in the business world. Nonetheless, his forays into business have not been without setbacks, and he has encountered numerous hurdles that have pushed him to the limit. Despite facing business troubles, Jack has also had successes, like fighting to keep control of Abbott after his father's death. Peter Bergman's portrayal has made Jack Abbott one of The Young and the Restless' most lasting characters. Jack's journey is shaped by ambition, loyalty to family, and personal growth. His storylines include corporate battles and complex romances, keeping him a key part of the show. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that the show has cast Vincent Stalba as Carter, so Aristotle Dumas' assistant is about to make his debut. Thanks to a Y and R rep, so it confirmed that Carter is a recurring character who will be around for multiple episodes. Vincent Stalba's first air date will be Wednesday, May 14, so that's when Carter will initially pop up. Let's talk about Carter's upcoming scenes and how he'll fit in the Dumas mystery storyline that's underway. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Phyllis Summers will fail to impress Victor Newman, so she'll turn her attention to Dumas next. Phyllis will be hoping to strike a deal with Dumas using the information she recently scored, but her attempt to contact him won't go according to plan. That's because Carter will do his job well and serve as a pretty protective assistant. Carter will take Phyllis' name and learn some hints about what she has to offer, but he won't let her speak with Dumas directly. Despite Phyllis' insistence that she wants to talk with Dumas right away, Carter will only be willing to give his boss updates on her call and info. However, it'll be good to see Dumas' assistant since it indicates some movement is happening in this story. Now that Carter has been cast, it may not be long until Aristotle Dumas himself makes his debut and reveals his true identity. As for Vincent Stalba, you might recognize him from other film and television appearances on Lessons in Chemistry, The Vince Staples Show, House of Ashes, Central Valley, Claws, and more. Stalba also brings plenty of theater experience to the table, so we have no doubt that the role of Carter is in capable hands. Since Carter has more episodes on the way, we should see him interact with other characters eventually. Carter knows his boss wants to keep a tight lid on who he really is, but could he slip up at some point and derail Dumas' plans? The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Billy Flynn could be playing the new Cain Ashby when Aristotle Dumas' identity is finally revealed. Signs are pointing in the direction of a Cain recast. So is Flynn stepping into the familiar character's shoes? Flynn shocked the world of daytime dramas when he decided to leave his role as Chad DeMera on Days of Our Lives and soap op from Salem to Genoa City. Now, Flynn is set to debut sometime this spring on Y&R, which certainly sounds about right for the long-awaited debut of Aristotle Dumas. However, there has to be a reason why the show's made Dumas' true identity such a big secret. They keep highlighting the fact that no one knows what Dumas really looks like, which means the characters are surely going to recognize him when he appears. There have also been repeated mentions of Dumas coming on the scene out of nowhere 6 years ago. Since Cain Ashby exited the canvas 6 years ago in 2019, we can't ignore that crucial piece of information. Plus, we've got Lily Winters digging at the center of this storyline. The harder Lily pushes for the truth about Dumas and his agenda, the more likely it becomes that he'll turn out to be her ex-husband. Daniel Goddard is busy playing Professor Henry Hank Dalton on General Hospital, but another actor could easily take his place as Cain, namely Billy Flynn, since he's already been hyped up as a mysterious cast addition. It's true that Flynn is quite a bit younger than Goddard, but it wouldn't be the first time the show recast with a younger actor in the part. Trevor Street John is over 20 years younger than Stephen Nichols, but he still wound up being a Tucker McCall recast. Now Flynn could be poised to take over as the new Cain and shake up Genoa City. As for Cain's Australian accent, we have a hunch the show will just ignore that too. Dumas clearly has Genoa City ties and some scores to settle, so it has to be a familiar character, even if that character is played by someone else. Tucker is too easy since the show already brought him up as a Dumas possibility. It's tough to believe they'd ruin the surprise by mentioning Tucker in advance. Cain seems like the more likely option at this point, so maybe we should prepare for him to reveal himself as the man behind Aristotle Dumas' empire. If Cain and Dumas are the same person, the show will need to answer questions about how Cain amassed his fortune so quickly and why he's decided to stir up trouble in GC now. Nevertheless, all may be revealed once Billy Flynn makes his debut and potentially stuns everyone by revealing Aristotle Dumas is actually Cain Ashby. The Young and the Restless is pushing Victor Newman to a dangerous edge, and someone may finally push back. Lately, Victor's power grabs have been more aggressive than ever. He's pulled strings, broken up relationships, and taken complete control of everything around him. From sabotaging Kyle and Clare to targeting Billy Abbott, Victor's behavior has become suffocating. Even longtime fans are questioning whether he still deserves sympathy or if he's crossed over into true villain territory. Reddit forums have exploded with debate, and one Newman name keeps coming up: Adam. Viewers are craving a spark, and many believe Adam is the only one who can bring it. His recent storylines have fallen flat. Tied to Chelsea's emotional drama and business fluff, Adam has been lost in the background. One Reddit user wrote, "I hope Adam steps into the supervillain role, standing up to Victor, standing his ground." The comment reflects a growing demand for real conflict. Adam was once one of the most dangerous men in Genoa City. Right now, he's just mild. The same thread had users saying they missed the edge that used to define Adam. The second Adam was the most villainous, one fan added. He seems set to replace Victor, evidently. Victor has always believed he acts for the good of the family, but not everyone agrees. His actions lately feel more selfish and strategic than fatherly. He's protecting his empire, not his children, and that shift is starting to show. As one Redditor bluntly put it, just because Victor loves his family doesn't mean he's an anti-hero. He's a villain. The show isn't afraid to explore dark territory, and Victor has already gone far past redemption in many fans' eyes. This opens the door for Adam to rebel. Not just in a passive way, but with intent, with purpose. If he becomes the one to expose the Dumas scheme or bring down Victor's house of cards, it would shake Genoa City to its core. Some fans aren't sure Adam has what it takes. There's debate on whether Mark Grossman's portrayal can deliver a believable villain. One post read, "He can't convey villain in a way that you'd still root for him." But others disagree, saying it's the writing, not the actor, that's dulling his edge. It's clear, though, that The Young and the Restless needs an internal shakeup. If Adam challenges Victor on multiple fronts, business, family, and revenge, it could reignite the show's emotional fire. The tension would be personal, painful, and incredibly watchable. Victor and Adam have both played in the gray areas for years, but fans are ready to see lines drawn. A family war with high stakes, deep betrayal, and no guarantees could give The Young and the Restless the jolt it needs. Adam doesn't have to be the good guy, he just needs to be the bold one. The one who finally says enough and fights back. With Victor losing touch and fans getting restless, the moment feels perfect. All Adam has to do now is strike. A new chapter may be coming for The Young and the Restless. One where Adam takes the lead and Victor loses control. Will this be the start of a Newman family civil war? Stay tuned to Soap Opera Daily for all the latest updates on this thrilling feud. The battle for power may just be getting started. Penn Badgley appeared on The Young and the Restless as Philip Chancellor IV, also known as Chance, from 2000 to 2001. The character is part of the influential Chancellor family, one of the central dynasties in the long-running CBS soap opera. His role marked one of Badgley's earliest television appearances, laying the groundwork for his successful acting career. Best known today for playing Dan Humphrey in Gossip Girl and Joe Goldberg in You, Badgley's time on The Young and the Restless gave viewers an early glimpse of his on-screen presence. For daytime soap opera audience and fans of Badgley, his appearance in this series back in 2000 to 2001 helped him gain recognition for his performance. The character of Chance not only contributes to the show's larger narrative, but is an integral part of Badgley's career. Philip Chancellor IV is a legacy character in The Young and the Restless. He is the son of Philip Chancellor IV and Nina Webster, and the grandson of the iconic Catherine Chancellor. The character was born on the show in 1988, but as is typical with soap operas, he was quickly aged during the late 1990s for adult storylines to be introduced. More commonly known as Chance, Philip IV matured in the shadow of the family name, having to contend with the fallout from his father's staged death and his mother's troubled existence. Philip was in his adolescence when Badgley assumed the position, grappling with the usual coming-of-age issues exacerbated by the burden of his family's history. Penn Badgley played Philip Chancellor IV from May 2000 to February 2001. His work on The Young and the Restless was one of his landmark acting roles, preceding his success in other teen dramas. Throughout his time on the show, Badgley's character was primarily part of storylines related to his mother Nina's emotional journey and the residual impact of his father's disappearance. Although the character didn't play the most dramatic or pivotal plotlines during these years, his existence served to fill out the Chancellor family dynamic. It also provided insight into Badgley's acting prowess, displaying his ability to act in complicated emotional scenarios, even at a young age. Following Badgley's exit, the character was written out when Nina left with Philip. The character was off-screen for several years until he returned in 2009 as a mature man and Army veteran. At that point, actor John Driscoll was brought in to play the character, and the character was afforded more mature, complicated storylines involving military life, undercover operations, and romance. Over the years, few actors have reprised the role, including Donnie Bose, Justin Gaston, and most recently, Connor Floyd. Through these portrayals, Chance has been involved in top storylines, such as his wedding to Abby Newman, his secret missions with the police, and even a presumed death plot. While Chance evolved into the name most associated with the character in later years, particularly after 2009, when Badgley was on the show, he was still called Philip Chancellor Ivy or Philip most of the time. The nickname Chance was largely taken up after his military arc, and the character was revamped for adult storylines. Penn Badgley's short but significant stay as Philip Chancellor Ivy paved the way for his future success as an actor. Although his experience on The Young and the Restless was perhaps not the most dramatic period in the character's life, it was a developmental time both for the actor and the role. In a dramatic turn of events on The Young and the Restless, Kyle Abbott finds himself at the center of a saga that redefines his future and reshapes the Abbott-Newman dynamics. The storyline unfolds with Kyle and Clare Newman seeking the elusive blessing of Victor Newman, an endeavor laced with deep-rooted family rivalries and corporate legacies. Kyle, apprehensive yet determined, reflects on the history of animosity between the Newmans and Abbotts. Despite his doubts, Clare remains unwavering, convinced that sincerity and love can bridge generational divides. She meticulously plans a dinner at the Newman estate, hoping to win Victor's approval through genuine affection and thoughtful gestures. The evening is tense. Victor receives them with guarded formality. Clare delivers a heartfelt plea, highlighting her respect for Victor's legacy and her commitment to Kyle. Victor, typically stoic, surprises both with a measured response. Though he withholds full endorsement, he acknowledges Clare's sincerity and agrees to observe her actions over time, an unexpected concession that offers cautious hope. However, Genoa City is soon rocked by a violent incident. Clare is lured to a remote wing of Chancellor Industries under false pretenses. There, she is ambushed and restrained by Ian Ward, presumed dead but back with vengeance. His aim is clear: to send a chilling message to Victor by targeting his granddaughter. Kyle races to her rescue, navigating a gas-filled corridor and risking his life to save Clare. In a climactic moment, he confronts Ian, leading to a fiery explosion. Kyle is injured, but his bravery saves Clare. The aftermath is intense. Photos of the rescue flood the media, and Kyle is lauded as a hero across Genoa City. The turning point comes when Victor, moved by Kyle's selflessness, visits him in the hospital. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Victor expresses gratitude and respect, acknowledging Kyle's unwavering commitment to Clare. This act solidifies his approval of their engagement and extends an invitation to Kyle to serve as a liaison at Chancellor Newman Ventures. Meanwhile, Ian's fate remains uncertain, but his attack triggers broader repercussions. Victor, previously seen as untouchable, confronts the reality that his family is not immune to threats. Security across Newman Enterprises tightens, and the boardroom shifts from strategy to survival. At an engagement celebration hosted by Clare, the atmosphere is tense despite the grandeur. Security is heightened, and guests remain alert. Yet it is Kyle's speech, one that calls for unity, loyalty, and resilience, that restores a sense of purpose. He emphasizes that love and courage must take precedence over legacy and profit. This chapter marks a pivotal shift for Kyle and Clare. Through adversity, they earn Victor's respect and forge a deeper bond. Kyle's transformation from skeptic to savior underscores the power of character under pressure, and Clare's steadfast belief in love proves to be the catalyst for change. Together, they step into a future shadowed by legacy, but illuminated by newfound acceptance. In the latest developments on The Young and the Restless, the emotional turmoil between Maria and Tessa has reached a critical point. Maria's unresolved issues from a recent trip are jeopardizing her marriage, while the Newman and Winters families face internal power struggles that could shift the future of their respective empires. The once stable relationship between Maria and Tessa is now teetering on the edge, as Maria returns from a trip harboring dark secrets that she refuses to disclose. Despite Tessa's repeated efforts to understand her wife's silence, Maria remains emotionally distant and consumed by guilt. In a candid conversation with Sharon, Maria confesses that she made a serious, potentially unforgivable mistake. Though the exact details remain undisclosed, her fear of rejection has kept her from being honest with Tessa. The emotional weight leads Maria to a dangerous mental space, culminating in a moment where Divan must step in to prevent a suicide attempt. Sharon, ever the voice of reason, steps up to support her daughter during this emotional spiral. This moment marks a turning point in Maria and Tessa's story. Maria acknowledges that redemption can only begin with honesty. However, the future of their marriage hinges on whether Tessa can forgive what she doesn't yet know, and whether Maria can earn back her trust. Meanwhile, corporate tensions escalate as Nate challenges Damien's sudden involvement in the Newman family business. Nate argues that Damien's presence introduces unnecessary risks, citing concerns about his mysterious past and unclear motives. Despite the resistance, Damien views this as a chance to prove his loyalty and contribute to the family's legacy. The disagreement exposes a growing divide, particularly as Lily Winters considers bringing Damien into the fold. Lily believes his involvement could uncover secrets threatening the company's integrity, but faces stiff opposition from both Nate and Devon. Devon, although usually supportive of Lily, shares Nate's reservations. He worries that hasty decisions could destabilize the company. Still, Lily remains resolute, viewing Damien's inclusion as a strategic move to both gain leverage and unearth long-buried truths. Clare and Kyle's romance also hits a rough patch. Clare chooses to put the brakes on their relationship after revealing its details to Victor, who remains unimpressed with Kyle. The pressure from her family, coupled with Kyle's confusion about her hesitance, puts their future in question. Amid this tension, Audra Charles seizes the opportunity. With Summer absent from Genoa City, Audra moves in on Kyle, motivated not just by romance, but by a calculated plan to climb the ranks within the Abbott company. Her strategy, however, risks undermining her current relationship with Nate, who grows increasingly suspicious of her intentions. Audra's dual manipulation, courting Kyle while concealing her plans from Nate, adds another layer of intrigue to the ongoing drama. Should Kyle fall for her scheme, it could unravel not just his bond with Clare, but also ignite a personal and professional war involving Nate. As these intertwined narratives unfold, The Young and the Restless dives deeper into themes of trust, ambition, betrayal, and redemption. Whether it's Maria's fight for an emotional recovery, Lily's strategic gamble, or Audra's covert maneuvering, each storyline underscores the high stakes faced by Genoa City's most powerful families. Young and the Restless sees Phyllis Summers is totally losing it, and she's ready to cause chaos as she sets out on a quest for revenge against more than one person in Genoa City. We're going to talk about some wild and wicked things that Phyllis may do as she spirals further out of control. Right now, Daniel Romalotti rejected her bid for them to work together, at least for now. Summer Newman's left town, and Billy Abbott ditched her. Phyllis has no job. Her kids aren't engaging much with her, and she's got no man and no prospects. It's not a good time in her life. Let's be real. Phyllis is on a very destructive path. She's hurt. She's ready to lash out at Billy and Sally Spectra and several others. So, we're going to dive into some just extreme things Phyllis may do to make her enemies and rivals pay as she comes totally unglued in coming weeks. We've got a couple of weeks of sweeps left, and Phyllis may be the fireworks that goes off. First and foremost, she's furious with Billy for firing her from Abbott.com, and she is certain that Sally was running some sort of long con to steal her job. And this week, Phyllis snatches Billy's phone when he's not looking, and she steals Aristotle Dumas' contact info. Later this week, Phyllis reaches out to Duma. so Phyllis may be conspiring with the guy against both Billy and Victor. Phyllis may pitch this idea to kill two birds with one stone. Take down Victor, take down Billy. This week, Phyllis makes a pitch to Victor to give him some dirt about Billy. But never forget, Phyllis loathes Victor. Even as mad as she is at Billy right now, Phyllis hates Victor to his core. Here's why. If you don't remember, years ago, Victor replaced Jack Abbott with that doppelganger drug lord Marco Anicelli. Victor put that creepy criminal in Phyllis' bed pretending to be Jack, who Victor had kidnapped and stashed away. So basically, Phyllis was being raped because she did not consent to sleep with Marco. And that was Victor's heinous plot. Understandably, Phyllis is never going to get over this, and she still hates Victor for it. I don't blame her. So right now, Phyllis is acting like she wants to help Victor take Billy down. But Phyllis might secretly be plotting to destroy Billy Boy and the mustache in one fell swoop. The second thing Phyllis might do is set aside her hatred for Victor temporarily and actually do some conspiring with him. She's angrier at Billy and Sally right now than she is with Victor. So Phyllis may backburner her past anger at Victor, not get rid of it, but just set it aside for now and pick it back up later. And Phyllis may give dirty info to Victor about Billy and his business plans for Abbott.com. That way, Victor can have Adam Newman publish scathing info on Newman Media. Or he could foil Billy's plans by revealing them publicly. Just dirty stuff. If Phyllis isn't gonna get to be part of Abbott.com, she may help Victor run it into the ground before it ever gets a chance to launch. And she could drag Billy and Sally's names through the mud. The third thing Phyllis might do is get in deep with Victor and engage with some of his other heinous plots he's got cooking. He may convince Phyllis they have common enemies and agendas, and one of those could be about Kyle. Victor may convince Phyllis to conspire with his other minion, Audra Charles, to split up Kyle and Clare. Victor may tell Phyllis Kyle should pay because he's the reason Summer left for Italy. Victor could say that if Kyle had reunited with Summer like she wanted, Phyllis's daughter wouldn't have left town, which is probably true. She would have sorted out the Marchetti issues and stuck around. But because Kyle's getting more serious with Clare, it looks like Summer lost hope and left. According to Victor, that could be his angle. He might get in Phyllis' head about Kyle being awful and how much he hurt Summer. Or it could just happen organically while Phyllis is scheming and being a wackadoo that she falls in with Audra and decides to help break up Kyle and Clare just for spite. Because Phyllis hates that Summer left and obviously she misses her. She was an important part of Phyllis' support system. Fourth, and this would be absolutely terrible but predictable, Phyllis may target Christine Williams and Danny yet again. In just a couple of weeks, Laura Lee Bell and Michael Damian are back to Young and the Restless. I would guess Christine and Danny may come back in time for Nikki Newman's big birthday shindig that Clare starts planning this week. And Hurricane Phyllis may target Christine and Danny once more. Phyllis obviously hates that Christine ended up with Danny, and since Phyllis is hanging by a thread, she's lonely, coming unhinged, she may make yet another play for Danny. Plus, Phyllis is fixating on things to occupy her and keep her mind off this residual trauma. So yeah, I could totally see her obsessing over Danny again. If you recall, Phyllis tried every desperate play in the book. She was in that trench coat with just lingerie under it. She was throwing herself at him, basically stalking Danny. The usual moves in the Phyllis-fixated playbook. So when Danny and Christine return in early June, Phyllis may be back to torment Christine and try to tempt Danny away from the woman he loves. Fifth, and finally, the last thing Phyllis might do is try to alienate Sharon and get her off her back and ruin their newfound peace. And Phyllis may do it simply because Sharon tries to help her. There's no question Phyllis is spiraling. There's lingering trauma from the kidnapping. Her support system has dwindled to almost no one. Daniel's got his own issues. Summer is gone. Billy had to cut her loose, and she's not had a man since God knows when. It's easy to see that Phyllis needs professional help, some sort of intervention, therapy, counseling, medication, maybe even an inpatient timeout to get her head on straight and work through those issues after the torment she endured from Martin Laurent. This week, Sharon sees Phyllis in a tough spot and tries to reach out to her, and Sharon may pull Nick Newman into it as well given some other recent spoilers. But Phyllis thinks she's fine, and so she may lash out at Sharon when she tries to help her. I doubt Phyllis will get Sharon to back down though, and Sharon might actually be the one to save Phyllis from herself with an assist from Nick. The question is, how many of these wicked moves will Phyllis make before someone gets her to stop, take a step back, and realize she needs help?